Recording. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah Stisla, and I am the CEO of ArmHug. We are here with the ArmHug podcast, and I'm here with Graydon. How do you say your last name for me?
It was Graydon Ursel.
Graydon Ursel. He's going to tell us a little bit about Forever Booked. Is that right? Is that the
Yeah,
name of your
forever booked.
business?
Yep.
Forever Booked. It's a service that's going to help you guys a little bit with your marketing. I think that I saw you guys while scrolling on Instagram and I was intrigued. And I think everybody else is probably intrigued why your testimonials are so good. So,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about you and then, yeah, we'll get started.
Yeah, and that's actually so funny. So many people are like, "Oh my God, are these real? They don't seem
Yeah.
real." But yes, I can assure you guys that the testimonials are real. And one of the reasons why we have so many is just because like we've been around for a while. I started
Mm,
doing this about 6 years ago, and I started this business because my dad actually he's an MD and he owns a med spa, and I started just doing a lot of marketing for him. I understand the industry
awesome.
very well. Yeah, because like, I was like his janitor when I was in high school. I was working in his clinic. Like we were just always talking about it. And so yeah, we started marketing for his clinic, and over the last 6 years, we just like expanded. We have over 180 like medical aesthetic clinics that we're working with right now. And yeah, we got lots of results and work really hard to help our clients get the best results possible.
That's awesome. And then can you talk a little bit about what you're doing differently? While looking at your website, I saw that you guys had like some 4 points, Med Spa Almanac, the booster shot,
Yeah.
the social funnel, and the AI Oracle. Can you talk about what that is for people who aren't sure?
Yeah, so those are like four pillars of our program. I think I'll start off by saying that the biggest differentiating point of what we do is that like when a medical aesthetic clinic or any like cash-based practice is looking to grow, they usually go down one of two routes, right? First of all, they try to do marketing themselves and they slowly realize that
Yeah,
it's super like overwhelming. You have to deal with Facebook shutdowns, like what do I focus on? It's just very difficult, right? And so a lot of people they'll try that, they get overwhelmed, and they hire an agency, and oftentimes that's also a train wreck. Like the agency doesn't really understand their business. They're working with hundreds of other accounts, so they're dealing with an account manager that doesn't really not really focused on them. And so the agency doesn't work. They go back doing it themselves, and it's kind of like this back and forth thing. And I know this because like when we first started my business, we were a traditional agency where like we would do all these things for our clients. But then we had the same issue, right? So about a year and a half ago, we created a new service where you can think of it as a hybrid. So it's not quite doing marketing yourself. It's not yet net working with an agency. We take all the tools, strategies, tactics, and give them to you to give you like the power of a marketing agency inside your practice. So that's the biggest like thing that makes us different. You know, it's not for everyone, but a lot of people really like it because it gives them a lot more control over their marketing and they don't have to wait for someone to get back to them to launch their campaign. Like they can do it instantly. So that's the
right.
biggest thing. And then within that, we have like different pillars of our program, right? So when we first start working with someone, we work with mostly medical spas. And the first most important thing is to decide what their offer is. Because I'm sure you know, like when you market a practice, when you launch a campaign, how you structure your offer is super important, right? Because, there's hundreds or there's like 50 other clinics, there's clinics down your street that are offering similar services and you need to know how to differentiate from them. So we help our clients create offers to bring people in the door. We help them create offers to upsell them to packages once they're in. And then we have a number of other things that we help with as well. So for example, the AI Oracle, that's a service we use to like follow up with the leads using AI because that's another like bottleneck that people have. So yeah, we have a bunch of different aspects of our service, and the ultimate goal is to help clinics build like this full marketing system in their clinics so they can get more clients and grow.
Yeah. And you talked a lot about going into a marketing agency, and which a lot of people do, and then it doesn't work out. So is this
Yeah.
contract basis? So is this like, do I need to come in with you and have to work with you to use all of your resources, or is it like per project? It depends on like people's needs. Is it a bit more tailored? Talk about your process.
Yeah, so our process, we only want to work with people when they're because if you just try to, use one part of our system, it's not
Yeah,
going to work nearly as well as using everything, right? So
right.
the way we like to work with people, we have an 8 week intensive program. So people start
Nice.
out, it's like an 8 week boot camp, and we do a bunch of things to get them really good results without overwhelming them. And
Yeah.
then after they finish the 8 weeks, then they work with us on a monthly basis. So it's just all month to month after that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Just managing expectations because sometimes it's like already, like you said, I see so many people posting and then they're saving their posts. They're trying to engage with people on all their platforms and it's not working or they're burnt out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, is there flexibility? Like, do you help your clients build content too?
So
Video, I know is another one.
yeah, with the content side, we mostly like to focus on paid ads because, you know, if we just focus on content, a lot of our clinics they don't have these huge follower bases, right?
Right.
And so if you spend a ton of time on content and you don't have any followers, you're going to be spending all that time creating content and barely anyone's going to see that content. So the benefit to effort ratio is just like totally skewed. Instead, what we want to focus on is we help you create content and then run ads to that content so people are actually going to see it and it turns into appointments. So the way we look at content is we actually have a full-time person on our team. Every week, they're scouring the internet to find the best images and videos. We call them the creatives in like the ad space. They're finding the best creatives and we'll release all those creatives to our clients so they can use those in their campaigns. So we have pre-made images and videos that are proven to like capture people's attention. And they can use that. And if they don't want to use that, we'll show them how to create their own content for their ads as well.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
basically run ads that make sense. Teaching people
Yeah.
how to run the ads that which what I guess how would you explain to someone if this has been successful for them?
Yeah.
Is it just based on the appointments they're getting, or onboarding that client from that ad? Like, how would you measure success?
Yeah, so I like to be super conservative with this because like, after 6 years of working with clinics, I've discovered that like you don't I hate overpromising, right? Because this is super common with agencies too. To make the sale, they overpromise, they promise the world, and then they don't deliver on it. So I always say to people, look, if you can just even break even within the first 8 weeks of working with us, like let's say you pay our fee, you make enough sales, you have a 50% gross margin on those sales. With that margin, you're able to cover your marketing costs and just break even. I'm like, that's a win because first of all, you're going to during these 8 weeks, you're going to learn so much about your business, so much about marketing. You're going
Yep.
to discover the system to bring in new clients at will and convert them. You're going to be using our strategies to close packages that you may have not closed before. And then also, of those packages you sold, a lot of those people are going to come back and you're going to start to see the lifetime value of those clients when they come back again and again. So if you can just break even on the front end and then start being profitable later on, that's a huge win. So I'm not promising people a 10x ROI because this marketing, there's so many variables that come into play. I just want them to, get a return and see the benefit and get them super excited about their marketing moving forward.
Right.
And not to say
And
that
then
some people do blow up and get like 10x, but I don't want to make that the expectation for everyone.
right, because everybody's running a different business in a different state. Do you see any
Yeah.
variations in that? Or maybe are there particular, how do you say, clinics that are doing better than others? Like, let's say one that's more for dermatology as opposed to vitamin IV therapy.
Yeah, so there's definite markets that they tend to be easier in terms of running ads. So if you're in like the coastal areas, if you're in Manhattan, if you're in San Francisco, if you're
Yeah,
in Miami, like all those places are going to be more expensive to run ads. They're going to be a lot more competitive. There's a reason for that is because people there have money, so it's like
there's
it
more
makes sense.
people.
It's more people, right? Rather than if you're in a Midwestern state in like a smaller town around like 300,000 people or like 100,000 people, the ads are going to be cheaper, but there's a reason for that. There's not as many people. So there's like pros and cons. If you're in a bigger city, you just need to expect the ads that are going to be more expensive and you need to be a bit more aggressive with your marketing. So yeah, there's definite variations depending on the market that you're in.
So should people be using your service and posting separately, like their own stuff? Is that how this works, or do you feel like it should just be following one track first, seeing if this works?
They can do both. Like when they work with us, we just focus on paid ads because that's what's gonna people want to make it like money in the bank. And the
Sure.
fastest path to that is to start running ads. But then we have the tools in their system that allow you to schedule your own content. And then, lots of our clients are posting with their platform as well. We like I would never recommend like in terms of organic posting, it's never something that you want to outsource because you hire an agency, they're just gonna post generic fluff that like no one cares about anyways. Like if you're gonna post content on your page, it should be actual content in your clinic, and that unless you hire someone to actually come into your clinic to do that, it needs to be done by you. So that's something that once you get the paid ads running, that can be an optimization step. Because it's like everything should be supporting the paid ads. So like you run a paid ad, someone will fill out a form, but then after they fill out that form on Facebook or whatever, what are they going to do? They're going to go Google you. They're going to make sure your reviews are
Yep.
good. They're going to go to your Instagram, make sure you're legit, make sure you have before and after photos, that you're not just like completely new with no content. So all the organic content, Google reviews, all that should just be seen as to support your paid ads.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. That's great. That's a great way of thinking about it. That whole content is currency thing, I think really got into people's head. And so now everybody's just putting out content, but they don't know who's looking at it. They don't even care who's looking at it. They're just hoping people just come to them. So
Exactly.
I like that you guys have a strategy, and you're trying to teach this strategy. Is this something that you're in the relationship with your client forever, or is this something that they would learn and then try to be off on their own? How would you describe the relationship with their clients?
Yeah, so like our whole philosophy is, our clients they pay us a set fee per month to access our platform, support our system, our software, and everything like that. The fee never goes up, but we're always adding more value. So it's kind of like Amazon Prime, right? You pay Amazon Prime
Nice.
a set amount, but they're always adding more things. So like we don't have any contracts, but we just constantly add value to our program, in the hopes that clients will just never leave because they see the value of it. So, clients can always go off and do their own thing, but most of them just choose to stay with us because, we're always releasing new campaigns. Market's always changing. They want that continuing support. So they just continue working with us.
Do you guys go to any events that are on site? Like, let's say there's like a conference that you go to, or any places where you recommend people to go to find resources like yours, or anywhere they can meet you?
Yeah, so I've been like I travel I actually haven't been any events, but like that's something I want to start doing. Do most of my content, like I have a YouTube channel. So I post videos there. In terms of like learning, I know like I'm mostly working with medical spas, so there's a bunch
Yeah,
of conferences. There's like Aesthetic Next, Am Spa, like all these different conferences for medical aesthetics that people can go to. But I just focus right now just like on YouTube content.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, YouTube's super key. I mean, for me, like people will see my ads online, and then like I mentioned earlier about you having organic content, they'll go to my YouTube to make sure I'm legit. So that just goes back to the organic content. It's not like something that's going to generate all the leads, but it's more of a trust factor. So people go there to get that trust built.
And you don't have to say what the prices are, but are they based on the size of the business, or is it a flat fee for using your platform?
Yeah, so it's a flat fee for using the platform. We do always do a sales call. We do like a proper demo to demo our system. We do a full analysis of our clients' clinics, and if they can work with us, we'll give them an offer. They pay an upfront fee for 8 weeks, and then after that, it's just month to month. But we like to do the 8 week trial first because it just like gets people started. It gets them a quick result, gets them excited, gets their staff excited, and then after that, there's just like a monthly work on with us on a monthly basis.
That's awesome. You answered most of my questions. I'm trying to find out anything that
Are
I
there
guess,
what's are there any things that your client base like struggles with in terms of marketing specifically?
yeah. So I'm going to start with, a lot of people put content out here saying that they're successful, or that they're doing, this much revenue, or they're doing that much. So besides obviously making sure that their content is real, um, what other things can they do besides paid ads? Or is the focus just paid ads, which is fine. But for people who've never heard of that, they might be skeptical. But I do
Oh
agree
yeah.
with you that the reviews and the testimonials are honestly like where you're going to see the results.
Yeah, reviews, testimonials, you can go even far as create full case studies. So,
Yeah.
um, can I share my screen on this call?
Yeah,
So, for example, like I just use my marketing funnel as an example of what people can do. So, like this is my main. I've been running this like a super ugly page, but this has made me like a ton of money, and this is what I've been running for the past like almost 5 years. People watch my video, they can book a demo, but then I just have a bunch of proof below filled with case studies, right? And
that's awesome.
a solid case study should be like where the person is before state, after they worked with you, Google review, picture, logo, so it's legit, and it just scrolls down and down and down. So we actually have a similar system for our clinics. We call it a proof page. And so medical spas, I have a template so they can create this own thing for their clinics. So when someone books an appointment, they can send them to this like, oh, by the way, check out our results. They can go to this page and see before and afters and case studies of their patients. And so
Nice.
that just builds so much trust before the consultation. So by the time someone comes to the consult, they're already like, oh, they're super excited about the results. So that's one system we use. Another really effective system we use is this referral system. So when clients work with us, yeah, paid ads are super important, but what's an even better way to get more clients is with referrals. So we have a system where when a new client comes into the clinic, the staff or the nurse injector, the consultant, whoever will say, "Hey, do you want to get $100 credit off your next treatment?" And they'll say, "Perfect." And then I would love to do that. And then what they do is they write down the names and numbers of five of their friends, and then they enter those numbers into a form in our system, and our system will text those five friends to say, hey, your friend offered you $100 credit. So the $100 credits both ways, right? And if that friend responds, and they'll also take a selfie as well with the provider and send it to their friend to like build a bit of a connection. And then if that person says, yes, I'm interested, our AI system will follow up with that person and get them booked. So what you're doing is like you're multiplying each person that comes in by up to five people. And
Yeah.
that's another amazing way to get referrals too. So we're actually having a contest with our clients this month to like push that system. But that's a really, really great way to generate new clients. It's like referrals, but then just putting it on steroids by really pushing it.
Right. So you're having the client tell them if they would like $100 off, they need to refer. So they need to be a part of that like I want to, what do you call it? Community. It sounds like you're growing a community too. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
kind of. And the key is like a lot of these referral systems, they'll like text the client a link and say, hey, tell your friends. But a lot of people they'll just forget. What
Yes.
we discovered is that to generate a lot of referrals, you need to do it in the clinic with the client. So like you hand them a sheet, you get them to write down the names like in the clinic, and then you put them in our system, and then our system texts them. So like it's up to our system to do it. So when you do it it's a bit more work because you need to ask the people,
Yeah.
but like we have people generating, 20, 50 plus new appointments through that method.
Yeah, that's such a sales strategy. So something I've learned is that people have a really hard time saying no in front of you. So take advantage of that and leverage the fact that you're in front of them. And the reason they might feel a bit better about saying no to you, not in your face, is because they don't know if it's real or not. They don't know if it's a scam. But it's the person
Yeah.
telling you that this is what's going on that's going to be less likely to say no.
Yeah, and just like it just you just piggyback off the excitement, the natural excitement that's happening in a clinic, right? So someone comes in, they get their IV, they're feeling super amazing. Oh, I love your treatment room. I love your facility, your staff. This is so amazing. And it's like
Yeah,
perfect. The next logical thing is say, great. Do you have any friends? You must have some friends who'd like this as well, right? And if people truly love the service, they're actually doing their friends a favor by bringing them in there if they truly love it, right?
right.
And so it should just be like a natural extension to ask them if they want to bring their friends. And then this thing by giving an incentive that makes it even better of an offer.
Makes perfect sense. And then I guess the next question I have is, you know, in healthcare, there's so many things about regulations, privacy laws, being compliant. Is there anything that people have to worry about with using like
With the
marketing in a
referrals
specific way?
or marketing.
Yeah,
Well, there's the anti-kickback laws, and there's this other law, I forget the name of it, but it actually doesn't apply to this case. That's like more to protect doctors from referring to like um non-cash based insurance based healthcare things.
right.
But this is like this is a customer to a customer referral, so it doesn't actually apply to any of those laws. So that's fine. With marketing certain drugs, you're not allowed to mention the drug. So like you can't say Botox, you can't say semaglutide. But there's different ways like you want to word your ads to make sure that your ads aren't being taken down on Facebook. You can mention semaglutide, but then you have to be registered with the legit script and all these things. But that's like another big thing that we do with our marketing is like whenever we recommend a campaign of the ad copy, we always make sure it's compliant and test it. So when we
Right.
give it to our clients, they can make sure that it's not going to be rejected when they launch it on the platform.
And then are there any common challenges that you've seen or like stories that you can talk about where you saw somebody really struggle and you saw the difference like when they started using your platform?
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many people that have worked with like so many agencies. I had one client, she worked with 7 agencies before she was
Oh,
working with us.
wow.
It's crazy. It's just like they just keep on going through these companies and they finally work with us and they finally get something that works, which is pretty cool to be in that position. But then also we'll have people that work with us and they launch a campaign, the campaign doesn't work. And that's actually totally fine because the first campaign always isn't going to be a total, you're not going to knock it out of the park for the first time every
Right.
time. So that's why the key is to have the expectation that, it may not work with the first campaign, but then have the agility to just launch an offer like right after that. So with our system, you'll know with if the campaign's working within a couple days, and if it's not working, you jump on one of our calls and we'll say, hey, you should try this offer. And that offer will only take like 30 minutes to launch. So I've had some clients that went through like 3 or 4, 5 or 6 offers, but then they finally get one that works. And sometimes the offer goes for 6 to 9 months or more at a time. They don't even have to change it. So that's the thing. It's like you have to kind of find that thing that hits with your market. And then once you find it, it can go for a really long time. You just need to have the patience to test.
Thank you for saying that. So definitely the first one will not. There's a
Sometimes it will.
possibility
Sometimes it will, but sometimes it won't.
because it is really hard to explain and show and have those expectations for people who are like, but I need it. And sometimes I guess that's my next question for you is like, when should they come to you? Because sometimes people are really desperate and they just need it to work now. Is it too late by then? Can we teach patients?
Well, I mean, I think they just need to think of the alternatives. So for someone that needs it to work now,
Right.
like they know they want to run their business. They might not be a good fit for us, but people that are a good fit, I'm like truly 100% confident that we are their best shot to get to where they want to be.
Awesome.
So, and that's why a lot of the things we implement are designed to give people a quick win. Like, yes, there's a lot of long-term strategies, but I've discovered that when working with people, you want to try to give them a quick win. So that's why one of the things we do is like if they have a database of people, we'll reach out to their database through text message with a really good offer. And that kind of like will stimulate their database, get them some instant sales and kind of give them some excitement, get the staff excited. So the quick wins are super important. And then once you get those quick wins, then you focus on the more long-term stuff.
Makes sense. Okay, I think that was the last question for me. This has been
Mhm.
great. I think I definitely learned a lot. And having you
Yeah.
on here explaining this is really awesome. I may actually contact you guys. I'm interested. That's
Yeah, let me
great.
know. Let me know.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So I will definitely add all the information below this video. So thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you, Graydon, for coming.
All right.
But yeah, and definitely we want to help support as many of our viewers, our listeners as much as possible. So you guys will see more of us. So thank you.
Yep. And whoever wants to learn more about the system, go to ferrerbook.com. And then there's like you can actually opt in to see a whole case study of how the system works. So if you want to understand like more of what I talked about here, I
Yeah.
have a whole video that explains everything. Well, thank you so much, Genesis.
Thank
Really appreciate
you.
you having me on.